Good morning, traders. What's going on? How is everyone? I'm getting caught up on all the Project X stuff. So I was actually on the Lucid Trading town hall meeting last night, and they were kind of explaining the situation. The whole thing kind of sucks for them, and I know it's affecting TradeDay and several others too. So it's kind of an unfortunate situation. Not mad at any of the prop firms; they can't do anything about it. I think they're doing their best. Honestly, it sucks that you can't trade with Lucid, but I like what they're doing in terms of trying to do the right thing for the trader, because they made it clear that they don't want to just wipe out all the trades from this week because there's some people that qualified for payouts. But they also don't want to keep the trades because he was saying there's some people that went on tilt because of the whole frustrating situation. So it sounds like they're trying to do the right thing. It's just going to take time to possibly manually change everyone's account. So it's kind of been a funky week, you guys. So hesitant on trading? Yeah. I'm definitely going to stay patient today because I can feel my nerves a little like, I don't know, maybe just frustrated from the week, like I said. All right, let's look at the chart. So we've kind of been stuck in this range really since Tuesday. I could even go back to like part of Monday. So for me, if it comes up to this Asia high and starts to sell off at 330, that would be a pretty clean short opportunity. Liquidity grab plus top of the range. And then if it comes down to London low, which is right at previous day low, and starts to jump up from there, that could be a good buy opportunity. So really, those are just liquidity grab plus top or bottom of the range ideas that I would be going along with today. That is the plan. There were a couple of nice opportunities off of yesterday's session volume profile last night. So this one was a rejection of point of control, just a return back to VWAP is what I traded there. And then this was a bounce off value area low, which was also the bottom of a high volume node, and returned all the way back up to the value area high area. Kind of just playing the range. So for now, we're kind of just chopping around VWAP and yesterday's point of control. We'll see what kind of direction we get at the open. What's gold doing? Gold had a big drop. Kind of a little double top situation there. Good morning, good morning. You're thinking long on ES? Yeah, like I said, it's holding above VWAP, stuck below this point of control. Really, it's stuck in the middle of the range that we've been in for going on 2 days right now. So I have little red dots drawn at the top of the range, which is also Asia high. So that'll be a nice liquidity grab to possibly go short. And then bottom of the range where London low is and previous day low, decent liquidity grab, bounce for a long. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Don't really want to play around in the middle of the range, especially at the open. So I'll be patient and see if either one of these levels get hit. That is my plan. While we're waiting for market open, if you guys haven't already, go hit that like button. Get those numbers off to a good start. I'm feeling sleepy this morning. I think the mix of like just a weird trading week plus the fact that it's kind of a rainy, dreary, like overcast day today. I'm like, man, maybe I should just go take a nap. Go back to bed. Kids went back to school. I'm gonna go take a nap. We'll see how the market goes. Didn't anyone take any trades last night? I know gold had a big drop last night. Where was the Tokyo session? Right about here. Yeah. This right here. That was the Tokyo session. Actually, would have been pre-Tokyo, I guess. This was where it opened and it bounced back up. Lots of movement. If you were on the right side of that volatility, there was lots to be made. There you go. Kevin caught some of it. Awesome. Couldn't trade it. Is that because of the accounts? Yeah, I know Lucid's on pause. I think Tradeify is still recommending not trading right now. A couple of them are good to go. Like I think Top One Futures, I'm able to log in there. So it kind of depends on where your accounts are. Obviously, I'm pretty sure Top Step is good to go because they're the ones that own Project X, or it's the same parent company. So I'm sure all their stuff got fixed ASAP. They're kind of screwing over all the other Project X people. But we won't get into all that drama. Sounds like the futures desk is back up too, from what I've seen on their Discord and heard from people. I know they have a smaller client base though, so they may have been able to go in and like manually fix everything a lot faster than some of these bigger companies. Like, you know, Lucid and TradeDay and stuff. They have a lot of users. It's going to take them longer to get everything done correctly, fixed correctly. A Monday gap fill. Let me look. All right, coming down. Let's see what happens if it comes down to this London low, previous day low area. Coming down pretty heavy though. Woo! Market opened angry. That was a big, heavy sell-off. Dang. Yeah, I know Top Step is back up. Makes sense that they're up. They're the ones that own Project X. So they got themselves taken care of and left a bunch of other people hanging. Lots of selling on that open. Still watching for a possible bounce if it comes down to like 25,200. Yeah, Joe, it depends on which prop firm you're with. I know from what I've heard, TradeDay is still having problems and recommending not trading. Lucid is on pause and not even allowing you to take a trade. I think the futures desk is back online. Top Step is good to go. So I think Top One Futures is good to go. Not sure about TradeDay. Lucid is unpaused now. Interesting. I would have to check their Discord and see what they're saying. If they're recommending that you can trade or what. Let me look. They just posted an update at 8:28 Central. So it looks like Lucid is giving you the option to wipe all of your trading this week and go back to Friday's balance. Or you can leave all of your stuff and keep it as is. You can't pick specific days. You can't be like, I want to keep Monday, but remove Tuesday or whatever. You have to either remove everything and go back to Friday's balance or keep everything. That's cool that they're giving you that option though. All right, so came down below previous day low. Let's see if it holds this high volume node support area that I have. If it drops below like 170-ish, then we could see a lot more downside today. Definitely could have shorted at the open and ridden some of that momentum, but I didn't want to just FOMO in because I was kind of looking for a pullback to enter long. No, Lucid, TradeDay and NinjaTrader is not affected. You should be good to go there. All right, I went ahead and took a long there. Bounce at the bottom of that high volume node. Dan Trader, obviously I don't know the inside of it all, but from what I heard on Lucid, they just weren't getting all of their data sent over properly. And obviously Top Step has all their data. They were just giving it to them quicker. I don't know enough to be able to comment on it, but obviously when you're an inside client, you get taken care of first. So they were getting all their information quicker. That's why they were able to get back online faster. Yeah, you would think it would be them. I don't have any Top Step accounts, so I'm not sure. I've just heard that their accounts are back online. I know, so the whole outage was like a massive, it wasn't just Project X, it was the AWS server or whatever. So I know a lot of companies' dashboards aren't working, like Lucid's whole website was down for a while. I know TradeDay was down for a while. So Top Step might be having issues with their dashboard too. Yeah, I think tickets across the board are going to take a while because a lot of these accounts are having to be manually fixed. And there's going to be a whole lot of one-off situations where they have to go in and manually fix your account. So I'm sure customer support is going to be behind quite a bit. Getting a decent bounce so far. I'm just going to hold it back to VWAP. I don't want to try to hold for a home run and like all the way back up to the top of the range. I might leave a runner. So I just realized I have it on the wrong screen. You guys can't even see it. I think the giveaways kind of suck. Like, yeah, that's a temporary band-aid, but there's definitely some people who had trades that were wiped clean. Or like, I don't want a free account. I want my profits from yesterday or whatever. So the whole situation sucks. You can't blame the prop firms. It was an internet outage. All right, still making its way up. VWAP is sitting at about 254. So I think I'll trim off a good amount there and then see how far this bad boy goes. Thanks, Alajon. Yeah, so it was a pretty sweet, like, to the tick bounce. So this was a level that I had marked off from volume profile, support and resistance, and check that out. Nice little bounce there. All right, hitting yesterday's value area low, starting to reject a little bit. I could definitely see this thing coming back down. Let's see if it gets up to VWAP and at least grabs my first sell order. I'm putting 5 and 2, so I'll take 7 off. I want to take the majority of my position off there. And my max profit on this account is 1,400 anyway, so it's going to hit my daily profit target and lock me out if it keeps going up. I grabbed 5. Is it going to grab the other 2? All right, so it's sitting right at VWAP right now. I'll leave the runners to go up to that 330 area, which is the top of the range. Oh no, EL, you chickened out. Gotta have confidence in your trade. Getting a little pullback at the top of this level. Chopping around VWAP. That's why I wanted to take off most of my position there. And then leaving a runner up towards this value area high, which is kind of where we've been stuck the last couple days. Looks like it's trying to break through. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, that's a good spot for it to reject because that's VWAP, but it's also holding this value area low. So I'm going to hold my position, just trail my stop a little bit tighter. Yeah, Ava, I was feeling that too. I was like, man, this is a really heavy drop. This could go down a lot further. But I took it. So we do have our 15-minute opening range. I haven't put any of my levels on here yet. Let's add our anchored VWAP for the New York session. Trying to break the review up again. Man, we had tons of movement for the first 10 minutes of the open. And it slowed down quite a bit from there. Verisat, you don't want to have a 200-point stop loss? 250 points? Come on. Gosh, even with one micro, that would be $500. That's insane. The risk to reward on that would not be good, because then you would be counting on it going up to like, for a 2-to-1 risk to reward, you'd have to get up to like, what, 25,750? There's no way. All right, so that little pullback and chop for these 5 minutes right here, that was just working its way past VWAP. It looks like we're getting some continuation now. $322 is where I have my target. Like I said, the range that we've kind of been stuck in is up to like the 330-ish range. We also have yesterday's value area high at 317. So it might go higher than 322, but I like to cut it a little bit early, just in case. Coming up to yesterday's point of control. It is breaking out of the opening range high so far. Let's see if it rejects from there or not. Hey, Hector. Yes, there is a discount for Lucid if you use my code. I appreciate you asking. Yeah, if you use code Krista, they have a flash sale going on right now. So it's 45% off of their 50K test accounts, which is their most popular one. And then it's 30% off of all of their other accounts. EL, I've never heard that before. I've heard of like trading like a sniper where you only have one bullet, or like taking your time because if you take a shot, then everyone's going to run away and you're going to miss your trade. Like the mentality, the idea of being a sniper and waiting for that one perfect shot. I've never I've never heard of it like trading like it's a slice of pizza. Just take your slice. That's a good analogy. I like that one. Alex, I've totally had that happen before. Where you like plot some level, or you're like, this is some sort of important something. I don't know why I have this line on my chart, but it's a good support and resistance line. I don't know where it came from. All right, coming back down, rejecting yesterday's point of control, breaking back below, opening range, high. Looks like it's coming down from my stop loss. I'm going to trail my stop a little bit more because I'm okay if it comes down at this point. I'm trailing it pretty tight. I have it just below. If it does come down to this VWAP and bounces, then there's still a chance. But if it breaks below that, I'll be out. EL, we can just put the analogies together. You can be a sniper who is sitting on the rooftop eating pizza. Take your shot and then have a slice of pizza. That's good recognition, Verisat. I feel that too. Like I kind of just felt, I don't want to say depressed, but just kind of like down, bummed out about my trading this week. Plus the fact that it's outside rainy and gloomy and kind of a down day. I was like, man, I don't really feel like taking my normal risk today. Probably not a good idea. So I think recognizing your emotions is important, and that's something that I do with my daily journaling before I hop onto the charts. It's kind of just assess how I'm feeling. Like, am I tired? Am I stressed about something? Am I frustrated with something about something that happened with my kids this morning? Like, all of those emotions can affect how I trade. So just being aware of it first of all, and then maybe taking some time to like center yourself before you get into the charts, or not trade that day. I think it's important to recognize. We have rain. What's it like? Yeah, it's not, it rained a little bit yesterday, only for like 10 minutes or so, but it's kind of just a cloudy, overcast day. There's definitely rain coming in the forecast. I live in the Houston area, so we get big rain. I'm from Southern California, where when it like rains, it's barely, like you maybe get an inch. It just sprinkles a little bit. So here when it rains, it's like downpour. I had to get used to that. Now I laugh at my family who lives in California when they say it rains. I'm like, haha, yeah, you mean it sprinkled for like 30 minutes? I use TradeZella for my journaling now. I don't think it's required. I think it's just the easy way. The reason I do it is because it takes less time. I can just export all my trades and import it into TradeZella, take a couple notes about each trade, and I'm done. Like the whole process takes 10 minutes. But I mean, there's an investment into it too. They usually have pretty good discounts around Black Friday, or if you buy their annual plan, there is a discount. It's 20% off. I actually have a discount code there if you use code Krista, but I don't think it's required. I used to do everything in an Excel spreadsheet and just take screenshots of my trades and manually do everything there. So that's a totally fine option. It just takes more time. That's the only reason I went to TradeZella. Also, I like data. If you like to be able to pull up reports for everything, like I can tell you what my win rate is at 6 p.m. or like all that stuff. I kind of nerd out on that kind of stuff. So if you like charts and reports and graphs and data, I would recommend TradeZella. Yeah, Alex, they don't talk about emotional intelligence in school here at all. There's so many, I mean, that's a whole tangent I could get off on. There's so many life skills that they don't teach in school. All right, the last part of my position stopped me out. It looks like it's still holding the support area. It came down to the New York anchored VWAP and it bounced a little bit. For me, though, it's still stuck in the middle of this range that I was kind of talking about. My risk per trade EL is $200. The reason I came up with that number is I typically trade with 50K accounts, to where the drawdown is usually $2,000 until you create a bigger buffer, obviously. So 10% of that, my thought process was if I risk $200 per trade, it's not very likely with my win rate that I'm going to lose 10 trades in a row. So that was a good amount for me to feel like I wasn't going to blow my accounts quickly. Yeah, EL, your comment about taking a lot of time with Excel and haven't even journaled in the last 2 weeks because of it, that's kind of the reason I went to TradeZella. my journaling kind of got sporadic. And I know that's an excuse, but I figured if I made the process easier, I would do it more often. And I really wanted to commit to journaling my trades every single day. So that's why I went to it. I still would be watching this 25, 330-ish area if it comes up there. Might be a good opportunity for a short. Or we have our initial balance set in about 25 minutes. We could take a trade off of one of the ranges. But for now, it's kind of just chopping around in here. Where? Oh. I have it on a different chart. Alex, you're locking up. That must mean you had a good trading morning then. I like that it's holding this level. That's yesterday's value area low and the New York anchored VWAP. And we had this little initial 15-minute opening range breakout trade. Now it's coming back to retest it. We could definitely get some continuation higher. This is another little 15-minute orb trade nuance, I guess, detail. A lot of times it's the second break that's the actual move. So we broke outside of the range and now we're coming back to retest VWAP. Let's see if it continues higher from there. Possibly. No, the value areas, this is from yesterday's New York session volume profile. So I have an indicator that I use, but you could also use the fixed range volume profile chart or on tool on TradingView. But if you scroll back to yesterday's New York session, this right here shows the volume profile for that session, the New York session. So the white shaded area is the value area. That's where 70% of the trading was done during that session. And then the yellow line right here, that's the point of control. So that's where most of the trading happened. That's what I mean when I say value area high, value area low, and point of control. Coming back down to that anchored VWAP again. Wonder if it's going to break through this time. Definitely an interesting spot here. Good morning, Shiz. Yeah, the indicator at the bottom is volume. Teenagers don't want to get up for school. I can imagine that would be tough, having to drag a teenager out of bed in the morning. Looks like it's trying to make its way down. So if it doesn't hold this low where I took the long earlier, the next level I see is like 25, 100. Looking at the 1 hour chart, there's a decent fair value gap at like 25, 130, and then lower too. Yeah, if this little red dot area doesn't hold, definitely more downside. Pro tip, don't have kids. Oh man. Well, it looks like that was it for the up move today. The selling momentum seems to be quite a bit stronger than the buying. Kind of seems like it wants lower today. Did anyone get in a short earlier? Definitely was a good opportunity up here on this rejection of point of control, and then it broke VWAP and gave confirmation and broke back below that 15-minute opening range high. Decent short opportunity there. Microsoft and Google are holding it up for now. Yeah, just barely. Not going to be able to hold it up for much longer. Microsoft is up less than 1%. Google just barely over 1%. Everything else is red. Almost. I mean, Nvidia is basically break even. Let's see what we get with our initial balance once it's set here in about 12 minutes. Came back down to previous day low and it's holding. That's also right around where Asia and London low were too. So this could just be a little temporary bounce before continuation down. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Product, the entry for short, yeah, right here, right around New York anchored VWAP could be a good short opportunity. If it comes up even a little bit higher to like 25 to 50. Well, it looks like it's going to reject from here. ES is kind of chopping around. Yeah, it looks like it might be rejecting from this New York anchored VWAP. That could have been a little bit too greedy of a pullback request. Coming lower. Man, there's not continuation either way. It's definitely looking weak. I wouldn't want to long this kind of price action. Kind of looks like it wants lower, but it's struggling. Seven more minutes until the initial balance is set. Kind of watching this level down here. See if it holds again. If not, this thing's going down. There she goes. Alex, did you ever figure out what your 290 line was for? Whatever it was, that was pretty much the top of the New York session so far. You called it. You don't know how, but you called it. Drop back below previous day low, which is also where all the Asia and London low levels were. Coming back to my high volume node support area. It's not looking like it wants to bounce though. This thing is looking pretty gloom and doom right now. There you go, Eva. Yeah, I was waiting for a rejection of this VWAP. It never came up there. That's all right. Five minutes until the initial balance is officially set. So I'm watching this 25,173 level, see what happens down here. What are you guys thinking? Is this just a pullback and then it's going to bounce, going long again? Or does this thing want lower? Let's zoom out. I think it wants lower. So it's making a new lower low, lower high, lower high, lower high. We're coming down here to 25,100. I think she wants lower. Well, everyone says lower, so you know what that means. It means we're going to pump to all-time highs today, right? Just kidding. Lower was the right call. Holy cow. I'm glad I got out of my long and grabbed some profits before it decided to tank for the day. The Futures Club, you're taking along? All right. Good luck with that. You gonna try to catch a falling knife? Oh my goodness. So I have this like bigger support level down here. Geez, if it just cuts through this 25,100 level. Okay. Back to 25K, you think, huh? That's what color is this? Gold? Light brown? I don't know. I think I meant to choose yellow. Yeah, see, it's yellow. I just made it transparent, so it looks tan. Gold? I don't know. Here we go. 25.50 maybe, if it doesn't bounce here. All right, so the trade that I took, the long that I took on stream with you guys, I finished off at like 900. I took a little scalp on that break down below initial balance and hit my daily profit target. So done on that account. Probably going to be done trading for the day. Interesting. We got a lot of room to go down now. Yeah, Nandia, it could definitely go lower. I guess, I mean, NQ can move fast and large for sure. There's lots of room to the downside. I mean, it could come all the way back down to like 24,800. This is another big support level I see. My thought though is just how much is it going to move in one day, you know? So that's the next level that I see right here. 25, 40-ish. But with how heavy this is going, it could come down a lot for sure. So the top of our range for today is like 25,290. If it came all the way down here, 450 point drop, that's not unheard of. Well, my little support zone is not really being very supportive. It's just cutting right through that bad boy. Dang, I don't have financial juice up. Did something happen, or is this just a needed sell-off? Nope. Nothing was really announced. No red stuff popping up on my screen. Someone needs to reboot the market. Restart. What do you mean this ain't right? I don't know. It looks pretty right to me. Any new tweets? Yeah, who knows? What did Trump say? Getting a little bounce at that level. I could definitely see it coming lower though. Not trying to catch a falling knife. Hope none of you are. I've had to learn my lesson the hard way on that one. I feel like that's one of those things that you have to learn the hard way, right? Like you guys maybe in the chat can relate. Like you watch all of these YouTube like smart people, you're watching their training videos and you probably have heard it. Don't try to catch a falling knife. Trade with the trend. Like all that stuff. I've heard it so many times. So why did I have to like touch the burning stove and figure it out myself? And like, oh, they were right. I shouldn't try to catch a falling knife. Yeah, Nandia, for sure. I don't think that's big support. You can even tell by the way I color coded it, just in my brain, it was not a big support area. This is the bigger one right here, 25, 50-ish. And then if you zoom out, there's even more lower. But yeah, this is where if we're going to bottom at some point, this would be my first guess. But again, not taking any longs off of those levels. Oh my gosh. When you zoom out to the 4 hour and just kind of look, there's a lot of room for this thing to go down. Dang. That 4 hour candle looks a little rough. Having a rough day. Is anyone still riding a short on this one? This could be a big trade. Like if you got in somewhere up here on the break below the 15-minute opening range or VWAP, the trade that I didn't take, but I was talking about it up here earlier. That's 150 point move down from there. Pretty crazy. Yeah, Verisa, I definitely see a lot of levels lower. I guess when it starts to get super heavy like this, I just don't know how much of it's going to happen today, you know? Like I see a lot of spots where it could bounce and bottom out today and maybe retrace a little bit and then further downside. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me like limiting beliefs, you know, without some sort of news or crazy event. I mean, is it going to go all the way down here today? That seems kind of wild. G-Man, what'd you miss? The market decided to tank. That's what happened. There you go, Eva, 4R. That's awesome. All right, Alex. Hey, that's smart. Recognizing that, like, lock your accounts and stop looking at your charts. Very good. Have a good one. Yeah, G-Man, I don't know if you were on early this morning. I know you've kind of been in and out with meetings, but I took this long and then I was up like $900 on that one. My lockout limit on my accounts is 1,400, so took a tiny scalp on this initial balance break just to get up to there. But haven't traded since then and probably won't. I guess we do have our initial balance officially set at this point. So there's our initial balance low, kind of hovering below it. I was watching for a short G-Man on this like retest of VWAP, and it rejected the New York anchored VWAP. It didn't come all the way up to the session VWAP, so missed that short opportunity, but that's all right. Can you lock an account on TradeDay? No. So you can set a personal loss limit and a personal profit target in your settings. But you can't just go in and be like, all right, I'm done trading today. I want to lock my account. They don't have that ability. Eva, you're totally right. Just take your piece of the pie, take what the market gives you, and be happy with whatever that number is. I think that's a great mindset to have and not be greedy. Take those little base hits every day because, you know, whatever that number is for you, if it's $200 a day, $500 a day, if you multiply that out by a week and by a month and you are more green than red, that adds up to a lot. You don't need to make thousands of dollars every single day. I mean, for most of us who are just like trying to be able to have a little bit more of a freedom lifestyle, maybe have some extra like vacation money or whatever. Not caring so much about the Lamborghini and Rolex lifestyle. Little base hits every day. Be consistent. The weather's bad for you too, Eva. Where do you live? Yeah, a couple hundred daily is okay for you. I love that. And then honestly, there's opportunity too to copy trade. Like if you're showing consistency with $200 a day and you're consistently taking payouts with that, then maybe copy trade 2 accounts and now you have $400 a day. Like that's huge. That's life-changing money. Especially if you have another job and this is just extra money to put into savings or, you know, pay off debt or whatever. Buy a nice vacation for your family. All right, well, it chopped around this level a little bit, just kind of showed some resistance, but definitely wasn't a big support level. Holding below initial balance low, definitely no signs of reclaiming that and going back higher. I think we're just gonna slow grind this thing down. It's just a matter of where. How far is it gonna go? Yeah, Brandon, that's the main reason I love Project X is for the risk features. Like you can definitely avoid tilt because you can set that daily loss limit of whatever that is for you. So even if you do go on tilt, you're only going to lose that much because it locks your account and it makes you walk away. And then I like the ability to just go in and click lock out So you can no longer trade the rest of the day. And you can click lockout for 30 minutes, like if you just want to take a break and then maybe come back and look in the afternoon, or you can lock out all day. I even like the custom lockout because a lot of times I want to make myself not trade Asia. So I'll do the custom lockout and make it to like 6 a.m. or something like that. So it locks me out of the Asia session. All right, Nandia, great trade. Have a fantastic night. All right, coming down to this golden zone that I have. But man, it's cutting through all my other support levels. It might just keep going down. No, Verisat, there is a risk lock feature. If you don't know this, this could be a game changer for you. So in your settings, your risk settings, you have your like personal daily profit, whatever. You can also go down here. Where is it? Oh, it won't let me do it because I already have my lockout done for today. But normally if you go into your risk settings, down here on the bottom, there's a big red button that says lock risk features or something like that. So it won't let you come in here and change your daily loss limit once you do that. So if you're not using that, I highly recommend it. Yeah, go check your Project X right now and see if you have that button. Like I said, mine is turned off right now because I've already hit my lockout limit for today. But that's a good one because it's embarrassing to say out loud. I'm going to totally put myself on blast. But I've done that before, especially in TradeDay. That's why I don't like TradeDay because they do have a daily lockout limit. But then you can go back into your risk settings and be like, I'm going to change it from $400 to $600 for my daily loss limit. And then you can keep trading, right? And go on tilt and blow your account. But if you lock your risk settings in Project X, it's going to totally shut down your account for the rest of the day. All right, bouncing at that gold level. Yep, lock risk settings for the day. Definitely a good button to take advantage of. Oh, gotta love it when support plays out. Check that out. I wouldn't have taken a long there. I'm not saying that I did. But that was a decent little bounce. I'm not a scalper. I'm actually quite terrible at it. But that was a nice little 60-point bounce so far. Getting back up above initial balance low. Woo. This might be a pullback to enter a short. Let's see if it makes it back up here. There's decent confluence for this level. top of my high volume node and New York anchored VWAP. Let's see where the point of control is for this session. Oh wow, point of control is all the way back up here at 25,255. Let's see if it reclaims this initial balance low. It's kind of an interesting spot here. What are you guys watching for in the chat? Do you think that's going to be the bottom for today? Or are we going to find a spot for a pullback and then short? What are you guys watching for? Or did anyone long this down here? I know there's some scalpers in the chat. Someone might have caught a couple points off of that bounce. It's slowing down though. Might not make it all the way up to the spot that I'm eyeballing for a short re-entry. Looking a little weak. There you go, Verisat. I know you like those scalps. You're in a cheap YOLO long? What does that mean? You have like an Apex account or something? Or you're paper trading? Jason's looking for 25, 150-ish. I don't know. For me, I think I would want to have it go a little bit higher. There's just lots of reasons. Like there's a high volume node up here, VWAP is up here, fair value gap, top of a high volume node. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too greedy with my pullback hopes, but I think that's where I would wait. It reclaimed initial balance low, came down, retested, might be bouncing up. I still think it'll go up a little bit higher. Gold is a tempting buy. Is it hitting some sort of support? Oh my gosh. You want to buy that candle right there? Well, I do have an alert set here. I could see maybe a liquidity grab off of this wick right here if it comes down there. But I don't know. That looks like catching a falling knife right there. Uh-oh, you went short here. It's still moving up. I don't know about a short here. Although, you're a scalper. You might have been able to grab 10 points off of that. Well, volatility is back. Yesterday it was, what, like 140 point range or something like that for the day? I don't remember exactly, but it was really small. Don't we have Tesla earnings this afternoon? I think it's after the market closes, but that could definitely move things. 235 point range so far for the New York session. Yeah, Tesla earnings is 30 minutes after the market closes. So depending on what that news looks like, the Tokyo session or the Globex could be a little wild. Yeah, I didn't see, I mean, I don't watch EMAs or anything like that. So the people who are talking about shorting at 140 or 150, they may have had some line on their chart, but I didn't see any reason to short there. This thing looks strong, you guys. Let's see what happens up here at anchored VWAP and this resistance level. The long looks nice. Yeah, if anyone was brave enough to buy off of this support level that I had marked off here, I didn't take it, but that was a sweet bounce right there. 120 point bounce so far. Jeez. It's still not a change of direction though. Like for this to be an uptrend again, we would have to move up a lot higher. There you go, Cracker Barrel. Still holding your long. Way to go. Nice trade. I'm watching this area, but definitely not going to just market order in right now. Yeah, I agree, G-Man. That's why I'm kind of waiting to see what happens, waiting to see if sellers show up. Because that was a huge bounce. If it doesn't drop here, I mean, it could come up to this VWAP, but I don't know. I might be happy with my profits for the day and be done. Peyton, is this considered a failed auction? Let me look at the 30-minute and see if we actually have an official candle closure. Yep, we do. Yeah, that's definitely a failed auction. So it's officially a failed auction if the 30-minute candle wicks outside and then closes back inside the range. The problem with waiting until the 30-minute candle closes, though, is you missed the whole move. Because that was from initial balance up to there. That was 58 points just from initial balance. Yeah, G-Man, I think I'm going to also. $171.5 is where I got in. Not just 3 contracts, putting my stop loss above that wick, so not giving it much room. Based on the fact that we're at VWAP and this high volume node. Couple of confluences there. What did I say? 171.5. MB Trader, have a good day. Oh, and there's an EMA up there? All right. Let's go then. Let's throw on an anchored VWAP from the low of the day, because that could, like, if this is indeed the low of today, that could be where we find support. Might be a good spot to scale out if it actually starts dropping. Kind of looks like it might try to move up. I don't know. All right, Shez is in a short. Let's go. We're all taking a short just to go against you, old Cracker Royal. Let's see who wins. May the best man win. All right, starting to kind of work its way down. So I'm watching this low of day anchored view up here. It's at 25,136. If it bounces there, I'll probably close my position. But if it stays heavy and breaks through that, I would consider adding. My hesitation though is that initial balance low is here. So it could also bounce at initial balance low. Oh, it's breaking through. Let's see how this 2-minute candle closes though, because it definitely could bounce there. Yeah, Mad Moxie, the time and sales, something that I'm trying to learn. Right now, I'm not really adding it as Confluence yet because I don't understand it enough. But kind of just taking note of where the large orders are and then comparing it to the chart to see what actually happened at that level. The biggest thing I'm still trying to learn is I know that the red does not necessarily mean it's a sell and the green doesn't necessarily mean it was a buy. You kind of have to use your own discretion to figure out if they're buying or selling at those levels. So that's the part that I'm still working on, still learning. All right, it bounced off initial balance low almost, and now low of day, anchored VWAP, bouncing there. That's why I moved my stop into at least break even. That way if it does continue back up, I don't lose money on the trade. Old Cracker Barrel wants to be made a mod so we can start kicking people out of the chat who aren't going along with him. If you're trading against me, you get kicked out of the chat, or I'm going to ban you for 10 minutes, put you on silent for 10 minutes, or timeout mode, whatever it's called. I'm torn on where to put my profit, and honestly, I feel like this might bounce anyway, because it's holding that level pretty well. But I might scale one out at initial balance low, and then one at the bottom of this high volume node, and then just hold a runner. I only have those 3 contracts. Oh, you're a mod on Joey's and you silenced someone? Nice. Getting to drop the hammer all over the place. All right, let's see if this actually continues down below that anchored view up. Got a little bounce. Now we're continuing down. So I have one order at initial balance low, one at the bottom of this high volume node, and then I'll leave a runner. Just went in small on this position. I'm already up really big in this account, so I didn't want to give any of it back. I took those trades that I showed you guys earlier on the stream, was it this morning? Playing off of the session volume profile. Took some pretty good trades in this account. Oh my gosh. I actually watched, so Joey posted that little rant about going full-time with trading and what his thoughts are on it. He posted it as a long form video, so I watched it. I actually like Joey's rants. I feel like people ask a lot of good questions in his stream, and he has some great answers. I like listening to his trading rants, but when he starts going off about like fishing and other stuff, I'm like, come on, Joey. You haven't even talked about the chart at all today. Sometimes I feel like he doesn't even get on to trade. He just gets on to talk. Especially the afternoon streams when he hops on at like noon. There's like very little talk about, let's look at what NQ's doing. He's funny sometimes. All right, coming down towards initial balance low. Let's see if it actually goes down. It's looking heavy. And I definitely like that it broke below the anchored VWAP and it's holding below. Gives me confidence that this will continue. Oh. What the heck happened to my trade of 8? There we go. That was weird. Come on, trade of 8. Don't fail me. Don't do what Project X did. Touch it. There we go. 1. Come get the next one. Yeah, I do have one old TradeDay account. I blew the dust off of it after the whole Project X thing. It's the only one I've been trading this week. Going pretty well, though. All right. One little itty bitty contract left. Let's trail my stop a little bit lower. So we bounced at 25.50. Nice, G-Man. You still have 2 running? Cool. I took off 2, have 1 left. Man, this thing is getting heavy. Let's go down my next high volume node, 24,947. Why not? Actually, what I'm going to do is throw on my initial balance extensions. Those are surprisingly really accurate. So first extension is 25.29. Let's look at the hourly chart. Since it's just my last 1 contract, I'm going to put it all the way down there. Oops. $24,948. That's where I see the high volume node. So there's the first initial balance extension. So, Praddock, the initial balance, I assume you know what that is. That's the first 60 minutes of trading from the New York Open. And an extension is it's basically like a Fibonacci extension. So I just have this initial balance indicator, and it shows, I don't know exactly what the math on it is, but it's a standard deviation outside of the range. So it's a good target if there's an initial balance breakout. This would be 1 standard deviation and 2 standard deviations. It's a great day for a recap video. I might be able to do that. Yeah, not a bad trading day, honestly. I did my the Lucid accounts live with you guys, those were the ones that I locked them out at my profit target. My lockout limit is 1,400. It went over, so it messed up my consistency a little bit, but whatever. And then this account, I'm up like 3,700 in it. And this one doesn't have a consistency in it. Oh my gosh, what is going on with TradeDay? It's freezing. I'm glad I already have my stop loss and everything in. So it made a new low, but it's still holding that support level that I had marked off, and it bounced at the first standard deviation level. At this point, it's kind of just a matter of what gets hit first, my final TP or my stop loss, because I'm going to keep it kind of tight. G-Man, what's your target? You go into, what'd you say, 990, I think was your support level. Shez, are you still in short? I think you were saying you got in back here with us on that anchored VWAP bounce. Yeah, G-Man, that's not a bad strategy with a runner. Just kind of see what gets hit first, your take profit or your stop loss. Yeah, I just put my take profit way low. The bottom of that high volume node, if it keeps going, you know what? Previous week point of control is 905. Why not? I already locked in most of it. Oh no. Outside dealing with screaming children. Fun times, fun times. But your profit target was hit, so all is well. You have that mark too. I don't know, it just makes sense. It's the bottom of a high volume node that I have, so decent support area. And then point of control is in there too, so good confluence for that level. Normally I wouldn't put something that far off because that's a huge profit target. It's kind of a home run trade, but this thing is heavy and I've already taken off a lot of the position, so why not? Getting a little bounce back up. It's holding, well, it is currently below this high volume node that I marked off. So it'll be interesting to see if that serves as resistance this time. EL, it looks like a reversal to you. Why do you say that? I'm curious. To me, a reversal is like establishing a base, a big high volume bounce up, or some sort of like higher low, higher high kind of situation. I wouldn't be able to see a reversal off of one 5-minute candle that hasn't even closed yet. Maybe you're on the 1-minute chart. Yeah, I could see where if you're watching the 1 minute, I think that's why I like zooming out to a little bit of a higher time frame. I mean, I realize I trade off the 5 minutes, so it's not like it's a high time frame, but it helps me not feel like, it's reversing. I haven't really watched gold from since last night. Do you have the anchored view out from the 7:15 open? Well, 7:15 Central, so 8:15 Eastern? Or do you have it from 9:30 Eastern? Where do you anchor it, G-Man? The gold New York open? So 8:15? That part, that always confuses me. Because I know it opens at a different time, so where do you anchor it? You do it at 9:30. Interesting. So I was watching gold at the 8:15 open, and it didn't move much. Like this in general right here, that's kind of where it opened. Oops. But if you go to the 9:30, where's 9:30? 9:30 is right here, and that's where volume actually came in and started to move. It didn't move much over here. So I don't know. Definitely haven't figured gold out yet. Okay, 8:20. See, I don't even remember. 8:15, 8:20. Well, it came up and retested that level, and it looks like it's rejecting. I'm going to trail my stop a little bit tighter just because I'm kind of getting bored with this trade and honestly want to be done. I don't care if it's my stop loss or my take profit. Feeling pretty good about trading today and want to be done. So I think I'm going to call it there, you guys. Just going to leave this to run and see which one gets hit first. But I will be hanging out in Discord off and on as I'm doing other stuff today. And then I'll be back live tomorrow morning. Have a good one, you guys. I appreciate you hanging out. Take care.